So, it's been a while. Oops. However, I've been working pretty steadily on this account. Originally, I had planned on making my next Archons only video be my journey to 100%ing Mondstadt, which would probably be a couple of hours long. However, since Genshin decided to immediately rerun Raiden again, I figured now is as good of a time as any to work on properly building the Archons and pull for Raiden's weapon. Plus, I've kind of got a lot of experience points right now, so I should probably run the Ascension Domain soon. But first, we're going back in time to start achievement farming. One of the goals of this account is to get all achievements, and I'm totally not just doing this now because achievements mean Primogems, and Primogems mean Raiden's weapon. That's definitely not it. An important aspect of achievement farming is the hidden achievements that come from daily commissions. There's a lot of daily commission-related achievements, so I figured the best thing I can do is go in order from nation to nation and restrict my commissions to one nation until I get all the achievements, and then move on. So for now, we start with Mondstadt. Also, some of these clips in the video will be a little out of order because I wanted to make the topics in the video be organized, so if any character levels change or if the adventure rank goes up or down at any point, sorry. Side note, I'm sorry if I sound a little stuffy in this video. I am currently battling a case of the summer sniffles because, of course I am. Leave it to me to get a cold in July. The first commission we're doing is a surprise gift. So long as you do each of the 3 gift options once for Rudolph, through 3 separate days of course, nobody said these would be easy to obtain, you can unlock a 4th option with Vile being the one suggesting a gift. This gift will unlock a longer quest uncovering Juliana's history as a treasure hoarder. All I can say is the treasure hoarder to none pipeline is definitely an original experience. Up next is helping Anna recover from her illness. With this chain of quests, her brother Anthony is trying some strange medicines involving slimes and asks for our help obtaining them. So long as you help Anthony every time he asks, eventually you receive a commission showing that apparently the questionable medicine options actually worked, and Anna's feeling better. Okay, so where is she supposed to— why is she up there? Tracking down Anna and reporting to her brother after everything is what gives you the achievement, and I thought that was it. Apparently, this is a much longer chain of quests with another achievement, so we got part 1 with the Anna recovery achievement, I guess. It's RNG based, so fingers crossed we can get it done in future videos, so I can, you know, move on to daily commissions in Liyue. Back to the challenge, there are a few daily commission related achievements that show in the subcategories, like the Snezhnaya does not believe in tears and the Ella Musk achievements. With Victor, you go fight different enemies to bring him the drops, and in exchange he tells you, well, pretty useless information. With Zaravik, he gives you different tasks, but you have to complete each one in a very specific manner to get the achievement. For the Snezhnaya ones, I honestly don't even have it on my main account. I never put much effort into helping Zaravik for barely any Mora. I know now Genshin makes it that you're more likely to get a daily commission if you haven't completed the relevant achievement, but, well, I guess my main account doesn't get that luck. The good news is I'm not chasing achievements on that account, so it could be worse. One of the tasks requires completing the battle and getting back to him in 1 minute or less, which was one I always failed. However, thanks to Mawika's bike, I managed to succeed on the first try. At least the other 2 are easier. I know there's a website that lets you track your achievements and stuff, and that's great for the category achievements, but the Wonders of the World achievements are so chaotic that I might make my own little document to keep track of hidden achievements by nation. Plus, if new achievements are added for specific nations, I can keep track of that as well. I probably should have put more thought into this challenge before I started, but well, the good news is there are Hoyo Lab guides that give step-by-step of hidden achievements for daily commissions, so I'll just start with a checklist of those, I think. So if you didn't know, I opened up my Discord server. I was super nervous opening it up, but I'm so happy seeing everyone already making friends and chatting. I try to spend time in there when I can, but I also love having it open on my second monitor and seeing everyone chatting with each other. If you haven't joined already, be sure to check the link in the description to come and join. And if you did join but are unable to react to unlock the server and rules, make sure that you confirm in your user settings under chat that show emoji reactions isn't disabled. That apparently is a common issue, so check if that's your problem. Once I get a few of the behind the scenes things decided, I plan to do monthly events, including maybe doing some of my challenges on the stage in the server to get me comfortable streaming. Circling back to the challenge, the other 2 tasks for Zaravik include defeating hilly churls without damaging the boxes, which is essentially just luring the hilly churls away, and then defeating a trio of enemies in a super specific order. That one doesn't really make sense to me, but I guess whatever the commissioner wants. Successful, we get the achievement and the name card. Honestly, a flex name card. Also, this is not relevant, but you may or may not have noticed that when you attack an NPC with a catalyst character, the NPC will clap as if you did a magic trick. Well, one of my favorite things is the same reaction is given to Mawika when she lights her hair on fire in her idol. I just think that's such a funny thing to add. I love it. Another achievement that's hidden within daily commissions involves Timmy. Actually, there's 2, but we'll get to that later. The first of the Timmy achievements involves Draff and his pigeons. Paimon, can we talk about this after I finish fighting the enemies, please? With the Pigeons Go AWOL commission, there's a chance of getting the version that has the hilly churls eating his pigeons. Oof. But hey, thanks for the extra foul. With this quest, you get a letter that we totally didn't read for Timmy. The next day, well, at least for me it was the next day, a follow-up quest arrives where we learn that Draff and Grace have been hiding the truth of Timmy's dad dying. Which, man, that's dark. I don't know, I feel like it's probably better to just tell him the truth. At least he won't be resentful for being lied to his whole childhood. Grace has us go talk to Timmy for her, which, okay, not my job, but whatever. From me? Well, I guess that's fair. Timmy asked us to bring a letter to Draff that he wrote for his totally alive dad. Wow. Salt on the wound. Well, that's depressing. But we got the achievement, so. The other Timmy commission involves killing the ducks when he asks you to go feed them, which kind of pains me, but anything for an achievement. Wait, huh? Did I kill them for nothing? Okay, so update. Killing Timmy's ducks triggers a future daily commission where you have to apologize. It was not for nothing. Speaking of random achievements, I also just started doing the easy ones, like cooking suspicious dishes or collecting easy to find books. Collecting all of the books will end up being a video, or two, of its own. There's also catching animals with the weird net in Inazuma, and I went and completed Act 1 of Inazuma's Archon quest to unlock those. Unfortunately, the highest level achievement requires catching 100 animals, and you can only buy 5 nets at a time. Tragic. Actually, I was thinking of doing a video trying to get achievements within 24 hours, or I do a punishment. Obviously, this isn't an original idea. Java the Cup has done the same a few times. My channel isn't exactly the cutting edge of originality, but I think it's a really fun idea, and the punishment will either be pulling on my main account or something else. I don't know what else, but I have time to figure it out. Something I've also been working a lot on is my teapot. There's an unholy amount of achievements with the teapot, so the sooner I get those done, the better. That said, there's nothing particularly exciting to show with me just, you know, building furniture, picking crops, and so on, so. Plus, I'm not really good at teapot designing. Maybe in the future I can look up some cool designs online and try to get inspiration, and then I can do a teapot tour. Or maybe I can make Midia design my teapot for me. She likes doing that. Though, I should probably start with just, you know, maxing the level so everything is unlocked. Also, while doing the teapot, I realized you can't unlock any of the dialogue with Raiden until you complete Act 3 of Inazuma, which is hilarious because Moika's like, thanks for saving that land, and Furina's just, well, since I'm no longer the Archon, like, oh, nice. Our next task is preparing for the Ascension Domain by pre-farming. I opted to exchange resin for frustration by making sure I collect everybody's Ascension mats for AR40 before going to the Ascension Domain. Yes, I get less drops with the lower world level, but I don't have to embarrass myself struggling against bosses with a full team of pathetically built Archons. Wins and losses. It's been a long time since I properly built up an account from the beginning. Honestly, my main account is still chronically neglected, so I'm trying to slowly work my way through. I figure the first priority is leveling everyone, then their weapons, then talents, and then I'll work on artifacts. Also, thank you all for informing me I was using Nahida incorrectly. Nahida is one of those characters I've never quite figured out, so I had no idea using her charge attack was beneficial for anything beyond collecting materials. There may be a couple clips here and there of me using her incorrectly. They were earlier dated clips before I realized. I know I've said it in the past, but this is not a place where quote-unquote backseat gaming is discouraged. Quite the opposite. Since I usually do solo challenges, I'm rusty with team builds, so I knew I would be relying on help from you guys for ideas and suggestions for builds, team comps, etc. to, well, succeed in this challenge. More importantly though, I know that people who use any or all of the Archons regularly will know the best way to use them and to build them. Plus, beyond that, I tend to not branch out on characters I use in my main account, and the only Archons I've ever put much thought into building are Raiden and Zhongli. Venti primarily is just crowd control for the Abyss, Nahida I never use in battle, I only recently got Furina, and I still don't have Moika. The only reason I even know how to use Furina to any degree is because of her solo challenge. Speaking of Moika, I get a lot of comments about doing Moika only, and also I did say I wanted to do it in the first Archons only video, but in my defense, I didn't think Genshin would rerun her within like 7 months. So maybe in the future, but I have a lot of challenges I need to finish, and Kokomi coming out next, so Kokomi will probably be the last new challenge for a little while. Well, at least until Nodecry releases, because I will be doing a solo run with a lot of those characters. Also, again, I will not be showing all of the farming right now, maybe in a future video, but it's so much repetitive battling, and if any of you wanted to see that, you could go do it on your account, because I'm sure at least one of you is neglecting farming right now. Fun fact, I actually recorded this voiceover, cut it down, and then decided to completely redo it because I wanted to add this upcoming section. Oh my goodness, the Nodecry teaser. I do not remember the last time I was so excited with Genshin. I guess I need to speedrun Atlan on my main account. The character designs are all absolutely incredible. I don't think there's a single character they teased who has a design I wasn't a fan of. I honestly might end up doing a solo run with all of of them. I guess I have to get working on my previous challenges, huh? Also, the fact we finally have Durin, Nicole, Varka, and Alice, it genuinely feels like Christmas having them all. I love Durin's new design. I can't wait to learn why he's in Nodecry and what happened after he woke up. Not to mention Albedo and Wanderer being in Nodecry too. Truly, I never lose. I saw this tweet about Wanderer's reflection in the water, as well as a tweet about Dotori burning Irminsul being foreshadowing for everyone remembering Scaramouche, and oh man, I hope that's true. I also hope that Genshin provides a cinematic of Wanderer beating up Dotori. That would be iconic. Anyways, like I said, I will need to rapid fire my current challenges so I can get ready for Nodecry challenges. Anyone you guys want me to prioritize for a solo run? I think once I get the current challenges done and get some videos pre-made, I guess. But once I reach that point, it'll be easier for me to zoom through challenges. Genshin is rapid fire releasing characters, so I have to rapid fire videos, you know? The good news is based on the speculated patch release schedule, my trip to Korea falls perfectly in the middle of banners, so I can probably run whoever releases on the first half, if a new character is released, edit on the plane rides, and then when I come back, it'll be time for the second half banner. I didn't plan that, but it definitely works out. Going back to Mawika, at the time of this part of the recording, I didn't know she would be rerunning so soon, so I was trying to figure out alternate weapons for her. I saw online a lot of people suggesting the craftable weapon in Natlan. I knew I had the Claymore billet, or at least I thought I had it. You can probably tell where this is going. I also get a lot of comments telling me to use her bike more, and honestly, I cannot for the life of me figure out why, but her bike just does not do as much damage. Is it because she's not really built? Will that improve it? At the end of the day, while I can use her on the AFK Archons team, I'll need to get more of a proper build for her if I'm going to split up the Archons and the Spiral Abyss, since she'll likely be main carrying on floors. Genuinely, a team setup for Spiral Abyss might just be Mawika and Zhongli, and then Venti, Raiden, Nahida, and Farina on the other team. Maybe putting Nahida on the team with Mawika and Zhongli, but I guess I'll see what works best. For now, to get Mawika this weapon, I spent a while running around collecting materials to buy the recipe, followed by several hours trying to find 50 of these crystals, and then another hour collecting white iron around the chasm. However, finally I had everything. Time to get Mawika, wait, where is it? Oh, I must not have picked it in the trove. Let me... Well, at least I can use the iron in the teapot. I think one of the toughest parts of farming for multiple specific characters at the same time, instead of one at a time, is you have to farm a bunch of different materials, because most of the Archons don't share any materials. The exception is Zhongli and Venti, who share slime, because, well, they were both early releases, it does make sense. But beyond that, none of them are using their signature weapons, so the weapons material can be from anywhere. Being super efficient, I decided the best idea is to use Star Glitter to buy things like the arrowheads from the Hilly Trail shooters, because I tried farming them, and it's torturous. Unfortunately, I don't have any Star Glitter. I guess I can sacrifice a single pull for some...
Hello, I am Yume Mizuki.
Okay, well that doesn't get me any Star Glitter. I don't even have Mizuki on my main account. I sacrificed a second pull for the Star Glitter, and this might be the first and only time I've ever been glad not to get a double 5-star. At least now we can level up Zhongli's weapon. As a last-ditch effort for Raiden's weapon, we did the Fontaine Event. If there's anything I'm good at, it's putting things off until the absolute last second. In the case of Genshin, this comes from chronically delaying starting events until they have less than 24 hours to go. But by this point, Raiden had been confirmed to rerun, and I had an embarrassing lack of Primo Gems. Obviously, anyone with eyes can see that this event has more than 24 hours left. But at the time of recording this, I was leaving to go stay with friends for the weekend, the next morning. So it may as well have been under 24 hours. This quest was so much longer than I anticipated. I will say though, I absolutely love events like this. I adored the potion event back when it occurred in Mondstadt, and so I have to preface that this was a very fun event. But oh my, I made a fatal error in delaying it. We started out with a lot of pre-quest dialogue. I get it, set the scene, and I accidentally thought that I needed to finish Act 1 of the side story in order to properly start the event. Oops. So as much as I loved seeing all of the character interactions, and this section in general, while I was recording, my internet went out randomly, so I had to restart this whole section. Unfortunate. Nevertheless, it's time to return for the event. I decided I wanted to use Farina for this whole event since, well, Fontaine. It's probably because I absolutely love merge games and similar little side quest mobile games, but I really like this event. I'm sure I would have liked it more if I didn't have to speedrun it, but, well, that's the consequences of my own actions. I saw some people saying that Genshin should let Escoffier's VA just speak in her natural accent, but I almost feel like the American accent with some slip-ups feels fitting for a chef. Like you sometimes see, or well, hear, people who live in other countries for a long time eventually adopting parts of an accent of that country, so in my head it's kind of like, oh, she got it studying culinary somewhere, even if that's not lore accurate. Also, I don't know if I'm just dumb, well, I do know that, but besides the point, but some of the mini challenges in this event were were a lot harder than I expected. Maybe it's just awkward on the controller. Yeah, I'll go with that. Also, it took me a few days not realizing I needed to go see Escoffier first at the start of every new day. Oops. I think my favorite part of this event, though, was either the fact we got to do the mini side quest with random playable characters, or, you know, the animal puzzle sorting. I didn't love the mini puzzles in the movie one, though, mostly just because I struggled in almost every single one, which is absolutely a me issue. I'm glad they all in all made a fun event like this, though. Once I got into the swing of things, I did get much better at it. If anything, the unfortunate part is I completely forgot to do it on my main account, and I probably won't use this bow on this account. Well, maybe the Saritsa will be a cryo bow user who scales on HP, so I guess anything is possible. Wait, what did I do wrong here? This specific minigame I found insanely hard for some reason. I don't know if my brain was just fried at this point, probably, but oh man, I was stressed. I did end up surviving though, so at least there's that. So while I'm doing this event, I have to discuss something dear to my heart, Kaiju number 8. The manga ended, and I won't go into details for those who are anime only or haven't read it yet, but oh man, I am so happy it was a good ending. I fear my bar is incredibly low though, because after Jujutsu Kaisen and Oshinoko, among others, an ending that wrapped up most things and was fitting for the series is spectacular. No notes, honestly. Maybe I'll just pretend Jujutsu Kaisen had an ending like that. The good news too is that Kaiju number 8's second season is actively airing right now, so it's the best of both worlds. The summer 2025 anime season is stacked, truly. For me, I'm watching Kaiju number 8, obviously, My Dress Up Darling season 2, Hanako season 2 part 2, but I'm also watching The Summer Hikaru Died, which has been really good so far. Creepy, but really good. I'll probably wait to watch Dandadan Season 2 until it's fully aired, and I've been meaning to watch Call of the Night, so maybe I'll start Season 1 now that Season 2 is airing. As for manga, I might re-download Webtoon and read a new Webtoon instead of a new manga, because I am now only following Spy Family and Windbreaker for currently releasing manga. Everything else I was following ended. How sad. After a few hours, I got all of the Primogem rewards for this event, so I'll call it successful. Unfortunately, I forgot to finish the quest line of this event, so I guess we'll never know the secrets of the Saurian trades. Or at least, I won't know the secrets. Alright, now comes the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time to pull for Raiden's weapon. Combining the Primogems we got from 100%ing Mondstadt, 100%ing Dragon Spine, daily commissions, that event, and some achievements, we don't have that many pulls, honestly. Luckily, I built some pity over the course of this account, and if I lose the 50-50, well, any standard weapons or Kenichi's weapon would still be good, since, as we know, Wika doesn't really mind using Kenichi's weapon. As I've mentioned in the past, I'd like to avoid spending any more money on this account. Thankfully, it has paid for itself, but I feel like the best part of a challenge like this is the farming. The only reason I threw so much money at the account in the beginning was until, well, Natlan, the Archons only ran once per nation. We also didn't know about Nodecry and how we probably won't go to Snezhnaya fully for a while. So I was under the assumption that if I didn't get them during these patches, I wouldn't have the chance again until next year. Okay, so I need more Primogems. I went to do some of the one-off domains around Liyue and Mondstadt since they give a good amount of Primogems, and if you watched my last video, this might be giving some flashbacks. Don't worry, it stressed me out too. Despite also running the Spiral Abyss for pulls, for continuity purposes, we're gonna keep the pulls in this moment. Don't worry, I'll show the Spiral Abyss in a future video. On the previous topic, while nobody in that teaser made me think, oh, this is Nodecry's like moon god or something, if we end up getting someone seen as a god or something similar in Nodecry, I think I'll still keep this account as the 7 and wait it out for the Saritsa. I get a lot of comments saying Farina is no longer the Archon, so I should include Neuvillette instead, and things of that nature, but I've been basing who I consider Archon as who Genshin refers to when they do the Archon arts and stuff. Besides, on this account, I still haven't played the Fontaine quest, so in this world, Farina is still Archon. Unless, of course, you ask her in the teapot. And there it is. Raiden was the first Archon I got, and now she's the first one to also have her signature weapon. Iconic. No more 3-star polearm for you. Time to level it up. Speaking of weapons, I'm looking for opinions. I crafted Mappa Mare since, well, I needed to craft weapons for the book, but I'm unsure which would be better for Nahida. I know she eats Elemental Mastery for breakfast, but Mappa Mare doesn't seem better than Sacrificial Fragments? Is the elemental damage bonus worth the loss of EM? Obviously, I'll keep both, and maybe I can try crafting more Mappa Mare in the future to refine it. Plus, of course, whenever Nahida reruns, I'd like to get her weapon. Better to have multiple options, you know? Alright, so now it's time to finally run the Ascension Domain. Going back to the topic of Neuvillette, I submitted a request to get that account back, and it got approved. Unfortunately, I still have to wait like 10 days to see if it'll let me change my password, so fingers crossed. With other solo accounts that are locked, it isn't the end of the world to me if I lose them, because I can just get the character when they rerun again. But with Neuvillette, I have his signature weapon on that account as well, so I wanted to be able to show that off after Inazuma. With Kenichi, it felt less painful giving up on that account since I was able to get him on another account, and I was only running him on Debate Club. Unfortunately, I do have to redo the entire Archon quest again with him, which is incredibly depressing. However, I did also get Farina and Mizuki's accounts back, so I've been working on Sumeru with both of them, as well as with Mulangi. I'm thinking after I get Kokomi Only Part 1 up, I'll do Arlecchino and Fontaine, and then, well, I also need to do Arlecchino and Natlan before I get the rest of them there, so maybe I'll do that right after as a back-to-back. And of course, my Mondstadt 100%, which will be a hefty video. Which reminds me, since I was originally planning on discussing the trip that didn't happen in the Mondstadt video, I now need something to discuss. So go ahead and leave comments with either topics you'd like to hear me discuss, that I could be reasonably expected to discuss, or questions you'd like to hear me answer. I'll probably take most of the questions from Discord because it's easier to sort through, but I also know not everyone uses Discord, so I'll go through both. Oh my. From AR35 to AR43. Well, next, I figured that by using these free pulls from the Ascension Domain and such, I can at least get some star glitter so it's easy to buy level up material. Plus, I also just got Mizuki, so I'm not expecting it. Wait, sorry. What? Huh. Well, at least Mawika gets a decent weapon, plus it matches her aesthetic. Obviously, her main weapon would match her much more, but, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Plus, it's better to have multiple options for weapons depending on what teams I go through for the Abyss. And I'd kind of like to get her C1. Speaking of the Abyss, we have a third endgame Abyss. Honestly, I think half the battle with this account will be chasing completion by trying to be faster than Genshin releases new content. Obviously, the few people who have every achievement are mostly early game players, so they had all the time in the world to chip away at endgame content. Unfortunately, that is not the case with this account. I shudder to consider how many more achievements, bosses, and so on will be added. Technically speaking, there's no achievements tied to the new Abyss, yet, at least, so I guess I don't have to complete it, but with a completionist account, it would kind of be a cop-out not to. Fearless and Dire levels don't allow repeat characters, so I'd have to split the Archons into 3 teams of 2, which sounds horrific. I guess I should probably prioritize clearing the regular Abyss first, though. I'd say Imaginarium Theater too, but they have had Cryo as one of the 3 elements for nearly every single season since I obtained all of the available Archons. There was one season that didn't, but they didn't have an Archon among the opening characters or special guest stars. Though I suppose I still need to prioritize building both the Archons as well as leveling up non-Archons so I can have the required amount of characters leveled, even if I won't use them. Nobody asked, but I think I'm going to start making a segment of my videos where I talk about whatever I'm watching or enjoying, because unsolicited opinions on things that I like is something I specialize in. Recently, I finished the anime Tear Moon Empire and started Cinderella Chef. Tear Moon Empire is an anime that is set in totally not France during totally not the French Revolution, where the main character is executed but gets sent back in time to her 12-year-old self, equipped with a diary she wrote everything in and a goal to prevent the revolution, or at the very least, keep her head out of a basket. Sometimes I just enjoy watching shows that are easy to watch and turn my brain off for, and this was definitely one of them. All in all, the story was cute, it was funny, I liked the cast of characters a lot, and I might end up picking up the light novels. Cinderella Chef is also a pretty turn-off brain series, at least so far. It's a donghua, a Chinese animation, and it's like, I guess if Food Wars was set in Imperial China and didn't have fan service? You can tell a lot of the animation budget goes to the food scenes, and it's great. Also, before the main character cooks, she has like a magical girl style scene where she's tying her hair up. I think it's very cute. There's budding romance and mystery, but I'm also only like 3 episodes in, so I don't know where that's going. The general plot is a woman in modern day China is a successful celebrity chef who specializes in experimenting with older historical recipes and cooking techniques, when one day she accidentally poisons herself but ends up isekai'd, sort of, into the body of a magistrate's daughter who's about to be married off. Except then, she's kidnapped to be the wife of a bandit group's leader. Or is he? But it's really funny and interesting, and it's also 3 seasons, so it'll give me a good amount to watch while I wait for the weekly episodes of the animes airing this season. Also, I recently watched Alien Stage. Absolute 10 out of 10. Till is my favorite. I've had Blink Gone on repeat all day. Absolutely amazing. That's it. That's all I wanted to say about that. So, you might have noticed, but I've been uploading a bit more frequently. Admittedly, I wanted to get Skirk out as soon as she was done, and since I was announcing the Discord and Gaming, I wanted to also get that out immediately. Going forward, for both my sanity and so the YouTube algorithm doesn't hate me, I'll try to keep a more consistent upload schedule, probably back to Friday uploads, and maybe at 11 AM Eastern Daylight Time going forward instead of 2 PM, since it seems like more of you were on YouTube at that time. My next video is going to be Kokomi Only Part 1, followed by Arlecchino and Fontaine, another Archons Only, Arlecchino and Natlan, and then I can start doing Part 2 of my challenges. If everything goes to plan, that would wrap up most of August. Obviously that assumes I can stick with weekly uploads, but even if I miss a week or 2, it'll bring us around early September, which is fine. I think I'll also put Chiori Only somewhere in there, or Nouvellette if I do end up getting to log back in, but I'll see how that goes when I get there. This is also all subject to change if I end up with like contractual obligations or something, but a general plan. Okay, so it's nearly the end of Raiden's banner, so let's do one last single pull and see if we can get her C1. Thank you all so much for watching. A special shout out to my channel members, and if you're new here, be sure to like and subscribe and hit the little bell so you never miss an upload. Until next time!